I'm vengeance. Welcome back, everybody. This is Mark 124.5 of the Super Civil Servant Podcast, a special showing tonight. Me and Sarah Taylor got to see Multiverse of Madness, and we wanted to talk about it for a moment. So we are doing a quick, non-spoiler, immediate reaction coming out of the theaters. Tomorrow, we will do a full-on review, spoilers and all, but tonight, we're going to give people a chance to see it when it actually comes out, technically tomorrow. And, yeah. But if you haven't seen it yet, you can listen to this safely. Check it out. Hopefully, it encourages you or gives you some hope going in. But I literally just walked in the door from the theater 10 minutes ago. I helped my daughter do a little bit of studying for a test, and then I hopped right in the seat, and we're getting ready to go. So I'm fresh out of the oven. You saw it about, 2 hours before I did? What time did you see it?
Well, I think I was like at 6:30. I think you were like, what, 7:30?
I was 7:15, so it wasn't that bad. Okay, I was right behind you. Okay.
Yeah, I saw it with all the bells and whistles. 4DX, didn't realize it was 3D. I was like, oh my gosh. If you have the opportunity to watch it in 3D, I strongly recommend it.
As do I. You can see I'm wearing the 3D glasses. Yes. I know you're supposed to recycle them, but you know what? I paid for that ticket. I'm going to keep the 3D glasses. And since I enjoyed seeing that movie in 3D so much, I figured I wanted to see the rest of my life in 3D. So I'm just going to wear them.
Just how it works.
Yeah, it's how it works. I did realize, though, that this is the first 3D movie I've gone to since the last Doctor Strange, I think, because I'm not usually a fan of the 3D, but this type of movie kind of plays into it pretty well. I discovered, or I remember now, that it's better to sit a little closer with 3D. You want the screen to be like the corner of your peripherals. I was in an ideal spot for like an IMAX theater. I was dead in the center seats. It was perfect. But for 3D, I would have wanted to be like 2 rows closer. I think it would have made it a little bit better because you kind of see the outside, the black on the sides of the screen, and it kind of killed the 3D effect a little bit. But it was still enjoyable, and I like you. I would recommend going to see it in 3D. I usually wouldn't recommend 3D movies to people, but I'd recommend seeing this one in 3D.
I know, because it's like when I realized that, because not just the 4DX, because you feel like in a roller coaster anyways watching it,
right?
Especially because the other 4DX movies we had seen, Doctor Strange, it did it with the trailer, so I knew it was going to be a hell of a ride anyways. And so then when I was looking at it, I was like, oh hell! I said we got 3D too, so man, our senses are going to be overwhelmed. Yep. No, it wasn't. It was. I think if I went to see it again, I think I'd see it in 3D, just like the standard 3D, because it was just like the visuals were just so. I think this movie was made it was made for 3D. There was so much that was like just jumping off. It was crazy. All I have to say is it delivered.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I was happy.
The guy I went with hasn't. It was a buddy from work. Hasn't been to the movie theater in a few years. He told me, and he definitely hasn't been to a 3D movie in a long time. And so when he was asking when we were buying tickets, like, I think we should go see 3D. I think we should give it a shot. And I remember sitting in the middle of the theater, like in the middle of the movie, he was like, "Good call in 3D." Like, thanks, man. Good call. But he hasn't been to the movie theater in so long that, like, when I sat down and started reclining my seat, like, he hadn't even been to a theater that had the reclined seats. Like, it was amazing to him. I was like, oh, cool. That's awesome. So this is a real experience. That's what's up. So I can't remember the last time I went to a theater that didn't, other than like the Dollar Theater down the street from me in Kernersville. But beyond that, I think it's like standard at most theaters I'm at right now. That's why the ticket prices are so high.
Yeah, probably so, because just being like a standard seat that, like, basically flips down. I can't remember last time I went to a theater like that.
Yeah. All right. So enough squirrels. We got out of Multiverse of Madness. On a scale, let's just put it on a meter of what you were expecting. Did you get more than you expected, or did you enjoy it more than you thought you would?
I mean, I really didn't know what to expect. I knew it was going to be, just kind of based off of, just like the Doctor Strange, you've seen, up to this point, especially with, being introduced to the multiverse. I knew it was going to be crazy. I knew it was going to be a wild ride. Mm-hmm. So it kind of met my expectations on that. And it just kind of went a little bit further, because honestly, I didn't want to read too much into it. It's like, I saw the trailers. I don't, and it's, I was like, okay, there's a lot of speculation about, what's going to pop up, what's going to be this, that, and the other. Kind of about the power deduction. I kind of, was like, okay, I feel like it's going to have these elements in it. I feel like some of the trailers kind of maybe spoiled, like maybe just maybe 2% of it. Um,
Yeah.
but I was still, like I said, there's still those moments where you're just like, okay, this, okay,
Yep.
I'm good with this. This is all right. I'm good with this. Um, how about you?
Well, as you know, I haven't been diving as deep into these movies, the knowledge of them, or watching as many
Hmm.
trailers as much as I can, like I used to, and I'm enjoying that a whole lot more. So going into this movie, I expected to enjoy it a lot, not because I've done that, but because I enjoyed the first Doctor Strange. I like the character; it's a good,
Hmm.
great story. I actually went back and watched the first Doctor Strange yesterday, which I believe is the first time I've seen it since the theater.
Dude, I have seen it so
No
many
fault of
times.
no fault of the movie at its own because it's a great movie. I just don't remember if I've ever watched it again after I saw it in theaters, which is a
Well, my
disservice to
daughter, my
myself.
daughter loves it,
You
so
know?
that's why we've seen it multiple times. She loves it.
Yeah,
She loves Doctor
yeah.
Strange.
Rightfully so. It was a great movie. Me and my wife
Hmm.
were watching it, and she was like, "I don't remember a lot of this stuff," and I was like, "God, it's." You're right. It is a kind of a good refresher, and I'm glad I went back and watched it because there are some things that are like, "Oh, okay." When you see in this movie, you'll be like, "Ah, I'm
Hmm.
glad I watched Doctor Strange one to see that." So Doctor Strange, not Doctor Strange one. Um, But yes, I got the exact enjoyment out of the movie that I thought I was going to. I got exactly what I thought going in. There are a couple of issues I have with it. As
Hmm.
always, there's always something in a movie that I can find that something's wrong with it. I don't want to go break into it tonight
I
because
can't
it's
wait till we
spoiler.
break down to that because I have a feeling I think I know what it is.
Yeah, you know me well enough. You probably know what it is. But it wasn't it wasn't such a big deal that once again it ruined the movie. All in all, fantastic. It wasn't what I expected it to be at all. And, my expectations going into it are very minimal because I haven't been studying up on it and reading all these articles and watching the trailers. So I have my own headcanon of what I think it's going to be about. And it followed that a little bit, but it wasn't
Hmm.
really a lot of what I expected it to be at all. But I enjoyed it. I
I
don't
think the
have
one
to
thing I was
read.
kind of interested in was, or the one thing I was interested in, I don't know how you felt about this either, was remember they were talking about this, especially bringing Sam Raimi into it. It's like they were going to bring like a horror aspect to it. It was going to be more of a kind of like that. That was really interesting because honestly, horror is not my thing. So I was just kind of really interested to see, are they really going to bring this in? How can you bring this in? Because really, with the Doctor Strange character, I mean, I could see how you could possibly do that because if you're into the mystic magic, all that kind of stuff. So that was really an interesting aspect too. That's something I was curious to see how they were going to do it,
Yeah.
but I can dive into that
Well,
a little bit later.
it definitely had the Raimi fingerprint on it.
Hmm.
Like you could tell, like even the guy who sat beside me, he was like, he didn't even know Sam Raimi directed. And he was like, oh, after we got done, he's like, that makes sense. He was like, that's why I saw this and this and this. He was like, that's so
Yeah.
Raimi, and I was like, yeah, it is. So, um, but yeah, it's I'm trying to think. The movie. When I say I have something that I'm disappointed with it in, it's just in the way they handled an action. I feel like they did a really good job of explaining everything in the movie. Like, there's no like plot holes
Hmm.
that I see in the movie that like or whenever I saw something happen, I was like, well, they need to dive deeper into that and explain that a little more. It's something different that I have an issue with. But as far as that goes, I think the pacing of the movie was fantastic. I
Hmm.
mean, there's not a lot of wasted time in this movie at all. You jump right in from the beginning. Like I honestly, when the previews ended and the Marvel thing played, I was like, oh shit, we're in the movie. Like you're rolling right away. So very very fast paced. There's not a lot of waste of time, you know.
Yeah, that's
But
right. Because you
the
better eat your
biggest thing for me
popcorn
was there
beforehand,
were no questions.
otherwise.
Yeah,
Oh, it was
yeah.
it was it
My
was
daughter called
crazy.
me in
It
the
was.
middle of it, and I was like, I had to walk out of the theater, and I was like trying to peek in as I was talking to her just to make sure I didn't miss anything. And I'm glad I didn't because there are, for me at least, and well, for the theater that I was watching, there are two moments. So I mean, we expect that, but there are a few moments. So and maybe wherever you're viewing somewhere else, there may have been more for somebody else, or maybe they weren't the same as the ones that I had. But I'm glad I didn't miss one of those when I walked out of the theater because when I walked back in, it was right at one of
Yeah,
those
you'd have
moments.
mad.
So
You'd have mad.
yeah, I'd have been really, really mad. Yeah. Man, I can't wait to start talking spoilers about this. Like, I can't wait to get online
Dude,
and
you're
start
not
talking to people
kidding.
that have seen it to start on it. I'm sure we're going to talk about it after this, like spoiler after this. But I don't think I have to rearrange my top 10 Marvel movies. I need to go back and look at it, my list, but I don't think that I need to rearrange my top 10. Not saying this is a bad movie by any
I,
means. And it may be right in there in that 9-10 range. I got to look at what's there and then really give this movie some thought and
I
think about
I've
it.
got to go back and look and see my ranking is anyways because I mean I'm pretty sure Doctor Strange is up there in the higher tier because I just love that movie.
Yeah.
So, but this one, I don't know if I could really now. I mean, yeah, I'm going to place it high just because I'm still off the high of watching it because
Right.
thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. So I really hadn't had a lot of opportunity to like really dissect it and just kind of like dissect it and digest it.
Right.
So I'm sure, with like a second viewing, that would probably, I could probably be a little bit more, kind of pick apart a few more things.
Yeah.
But I mean, for right now, I mean, just an overall hell of a damn movie. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just hell of a damn movie. I mean, it was like I said, with the 40 them damn seats from the get go, you're already rocking and rolling. You're like, whoa.
Yeah, it starts out very, very quickly. Did you like it? If you had to pick the first one or this one, which one do you think? Is it too soon to judge?
Oh, I think it's too soon. I think it's too soon because
Okay.
I mean,
It
I
wouldn't
feel
really
like
be
there's a
fair to
lot
you
of
because you've seen the first one a
external.
million times, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just it. But we took the kids to see it, so because I was like, we've been through all the other ones or whatnot, and I mean, there were probably some moments in there that was probably a little strong for them. But like I said, we'll discuss that later. But for my kids loved it. They were just like, "Whoa, this is crazy." But then again, it might have been just the experience of how we watched it. I
Right.
think if we,
I,
if it might have been a little less, sensory, it might have been
mhm.
different.
That's another reason why I think it'd be hard to judge a 4D movie when you see it for the
Mhm,
first time because I feel like if you go see like a Star Wars movie or this movie in 4DX,
mhm.
it's almost hard not to have a good time. Even if the movie
Yeah,
wasn't good, you're gonna have a good time. But luckily, that's not the case in this situation. But I feel like you could put Blue's Clues on a 4DX and probably enjoy it. You know, so but I've never been to a 4DX theater, so I'm not sure. I'm just totally going off what I've heard about them. So and how much you
well,
enjoyed
and
them.
that's the thing about
So
too. My son, he's like, "Wow, we got to see this in 40X." We saw the trailer, and I about got thrown on my seat. I couldn't, just like popcorn everywhere. I'm like, these are this is why those theaters are there. It's for movies like this. And then, like I said,
I was
add the like I told you guys beforehand. I was like, "Oh God, like the 3D." I'm like, "Oh, our little brains are gonna something's gonna blow, whether it's
yeah.
whatever." But it was a good combination. It really was. It was really good. And like I said, I'm glad we did see it in a 3D. That was really awesome.
That was actually a perfect way to describe it the way you said a second ago. This is what the kind of movie that theaters are made for.
Hmm.
It's exactly right. This is the kind of movie that you want to see. Not saying that it wouldn't be good out of theater, but this is one that you want that theater experience. I
Right.
feel
I
I feel
mean,
like that's kind of part of the movie is this theater experience.
right. And like I said, that's the kind of because there was a lot of elements in this movie that I just really loved. I mean, it
Mhm.
checked a lot of boxes. Just because the type of movies I like. Like I don't feel like it's pigeonholed in it's like this specific one, this specific one, this specific one. I feel like it's a combination of a lot. You can pick out a lot of things in it because it was just because I'm like stepping back. I'm like, this is a hella Marvel movie. I mean, it's been a while since I've really seen one that just sucked me in so quick.
Mhm.
I mean, not to ditch all the other ones, but it's kind of like you go back to the MCU. You got Infinity War and Endgame. I mean, Infinity War, like I said, I mean, I don't know how many times I could take 3 times to watch it with a straight face, without just no tears basically. But
Right. I still can't. I don't
I
think.
don't know. It just feels like, but there wasn't. I think one thing I did like about this movie, there wasn't so many characters in there that it really took you away from the story.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's like I know
Yeah.
every movie has an underlying story, but you have all these other characters. To me, it just kind of pulls it, what kind of like makes everything kind of branch out.
Right.
It's almost like different point of views. But this, I felt like as far as like the story, I felt like it was pretty solid.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I
it
was just
wasn't
kind
too
of,
much. They didn't overdo it. I
yeah.
thought it was going to be a lot more multiversy than it was. Not saying that it wasn't multiversy, but I thought it was going to be a lot more multiversy than it was. They still did a great job, but
Hmm.
I'm feeling like I'm starting to get into a little bit of spoilers here if I go any deeper with that. But
I know,
it
right?
was
It's hard. It's difficult.
it is hard. Yeah, it's very very difficult. Like I have my notes that I took, and I haven't even opened the book up because I'm like, no, if I open that book up, I'm going to say something like this.
Yeah, you can go down the rabbit hole.
So, but I mean, all in all, I guess we're just getting on here. We just wanted to go here quick 10, 15 minutes, talk about the reaction. If you haven't seen it and you have a chance to watch this, I hope it gives you some hope going into it. But I don't think you're going to need much. I think if you're a Marvel fan, you're really going to like this movie. I think Ross is going to love this movie. Ross, if you listen to
If
this
he
is not a
doesn't,
spoiler. I
I don't know
think
what to
Ross is
say.
going to love this movie. But yeah, I mean, Marvel hits another one out of the park, and we're gonna dive really deep into it tomorrow, which is funny because tomorrow we got to dive deep into Multiverse of Madness, which is going to be a lot. And Ross is right again; it's going to be a lot to talk about. We got two shows wrapping up: Picard and Moon Knight,
Midnight.
and then what
Mhm.
continue on with Halo. Man, we got a lot to talk about tomorrow, so it's going to be a big, big show.
And Strange New Worlds just started. Like I said, I've got
Oh,
three to
okay.
watch. I haven't seen Picard, I haven't seen Halo, and I haven't seen the first episode of Strange New Worlds. And I did finish up Moonlight, but oh my God,
I'm right
tomorrow's
there
gonna
with
be
you on
busy.
all of that. But I've got tomorrow off, so I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna get it done. So,
Oh, I hate you.
well, hey, every 5 weeks I get a Friday off, so it works out perfect. But
Well, I'm gonna watch one of them tonight. I'm gonna watch one of them. I don't know which
I
one, but I'm
probably
gonna
will
watch
too.
one tonight.
I probably will too.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
probably is the Strange New World because it's one starting episode instead of the finale of the other ones. But I'll figure that out later. But anyway, this is the
Yeah, because I
Multiverse of
think
Madness non-spoiler conversation we're talking about here. That's a squirrel we just chased,
there goes a
big time.
squirrel.
Yeah. But we were talking about tomorrow's show. We are going to, like I said, dive deep in this tomorrow. I just wanted to put this
Mhm.
out there. I was so excited when I got out of this movie. It's a movie theater experience movie, like for real, for real. I cannot wait to talk about the couple little things that irritated me, so I can get them off my chest and just be done with them. Because I'm pretty sure after a while I'll just forget about them. But um, I also can't wait to talk about all the phenomenal, amazing things that were in this movie. There really are some eye-opening
Oh,
things you look at, and it just blows you away. Visually stunning movie, very, very well done. And what's funny is Doctor Strange 1 is a visually stunning movie.
hmm.
This one is in a different kind of way. Doctor Strange 1 was like a Inception kind of visually stunning. This one is
I know
hard.
because
It's hard to describe. Yeah,
it takes
I don't know.
elements from the first. So it takes elements from that. So there's some things that you recognize. You're like, oh, I've seen. But I like that. I like it because it needs to meld it because I mean it is still Doctor Strange.
Right.
But yeah, dude, we got to wrap this up because we're going to end up saying something.
I'm saying we're gonna end up saying something. That's right. We're gonna. But all right, cool. Well, let's go ahead and get out of here. For anybody's listening, I hope you go see Doctor Strange. Go check it out. It's an awesome movie. Full spoilers tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on YouTube. Me and Sarah will
Mhm.
be here. Ross will be fresh out of the theater. I think he's going to see it
Oh,
at
is
like
it
6 tomorrow, which means he'll be getting home like right at the beginning of the show. So he'll be
You'll be
like,
like us, like tomorrow at this time.
yes,
Like
like
we're like,
exactly. But he'll be
yeah.
able to spill the beans then. So come check us out. It'll be fun. And hang out, man. Get in the chat room. We'll post your chats. We'll talk with you. We'll conversate all that fun stuff.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but let's go ahead and get out of here, Sarah. I will talk to you probably just in a few minutes about
Yes,
diving spoilers
absolutely.
here.
There's like some stuff.
But let's go talk some spoilers. Later, y'all.
All right, bye guys.